Welcome back, everybody, to your favorite Klaviyo email marketing YouTube channel. My name is Philip Moldavanu. Today, I'm going to be walking you through why most e-commerce brands are failing at email marketing. Okay, I have personally been inside of over 100 different Klaviyo accounts in the past year alone. I'm going to be spilling the beans on what exactly is preventing the majority of e-commerce brands from scaling. What are some limiting beliefs they face? What are some things they're not doing? What are some things they're doing wrong? Okay, and so I'm going to kind of just spill the beans here. Really valuable video for you all. No crazy editing, no fancy edits, just straight value. We're all business owners here. We can totally handle that. Okay. Really quickly, if it's your first time here, welcome. If you're back again for the second time, third time, fourth time, welcome back. I'm glad to see you. Why should you listen to me, right? Well, I personally have over $25 million in added email revenue through Klaviyo specifically, actively at the time of recording this video. Myself and my team, my brilliant team over at Social Scout, my agency, we manage over 30 different 6, 7, 8, as well as 9-figure e-commerce brands who are doing over $100 million per year in revenue using Klaviyo. Klaviyo is the only platform we use, okay? So we have added over 6 figures to brands' monthly revenues in literally a matter of weeks. I have a pretty cool screenshot right here of an account doing 70% attribution from Klaviyo, up 405%. And as I always say, I have so many screenshots. If you want to see anything in particular, any size of brand, any specific attribution, any specific revenue split, just shoot me a DM. I'd be happy to show you. So getting into it, I have some of the main points right here. And obviously there's a lot of different things that people are doing wrong, but these are kind of like the main points, right, that I want to go over in this video for you guys today. So number one, letting emotions dictate how they actually run their account. Okay, I cannot stress to you guys enough how important it is to not let emotions interfere with what tests you're running, what campaigns you're sending, what angles you're taking, right? How the sign-up form appears. There are so many variables that go into these things, and statistics and numbers are the only thing that's going to move the needle forward here, okay? I can't stress to you enough how important it is to make sure that even if you particularly don't love a particular aspect of how a form is angling the offer, right? If you are in the business to scale and you want to truly scale your brand and make more money and provide your product to more people and get in front of more people, right? You're going to have to kind of let these things take their course. Okay. I have had so many situations where, for example, like a sign up form, right? You might not like a particular offer, for example, like a mystery deal, right? Maybe you don't particularly like, you personally don't like a mystery deal. You think it's annoying or it's spammy or gimmicky, right? And I've had lots of situations where our actual clients have said, and by the way, love all my clients. I totally get it. Like, it's your brand, it's your baby. I totally get it, right? But that being said, a lot of our clients sometimes will be like, hey, I'm not a huge fan of the mystery deal. Like, I don't think anyone would purchase off of that. Like I wouldn't buy that. And we're like, okay, like, no worries. I get it. Can we at least run a test, right? Can we run a test, see how it performs? And majority of the time they always say yes. We run the test, and the mystery deal or whatever it is, I'm just using that as an example, just blows everything else out of the water, right? And they never would have ever figured that out if they had kept that limiting belief and if they had kept their emotions and allowed their emotions to dictate how they ran the account. You see what I'm saying? So just be open to everything, test everything, okay? And you'll get a lot further in your account, okay? Now, second, if you're new on my channel, or if you've been on my channel before, you know that I'm a nerd when it comes to the sign-up forms. The sign-up form is the single highest leverage piece of your account, and too many brands are neglecting their form. When I say neglecting, if you are not testing it at least, let's say bare minimum once every 2 weeks, you're leaving sales on the table, okay? I've had instances where I've added $27,000, $30,000, $40,000 to brands' monthly revenues by literally just touching the form. Like, literally hand on the Bible, just touching the form, and that's it. Okay. Especially if you're a brand with a lot of traffic, literally just a 2% increase in submit rate can have massive ripple effects. And so the majority of brands, when I get into their account and I do an audit, I find that their form has just been sitting there for like a year. And I'm like, how often do you guys test your form? And they're like, oh, like, we don't really test it. And I'm like, my eyes bulge out of my head. I'm like, what? Because it's just too high leverage. So that's a big one that I see. Instantly, we can come in and within a few days, we can instantly double, triple their submit rate. And within a month, they've added an extra 20, 30, whatever, $1,000 to their monthly revenue. And they would have unlocked that because they were neglecting their sign up form. Okay. Which leads me to my next point, not testing enough. Okay. Testing is the name of the game. I mentioned once every 2 weeks on just the sign up form. Ideally, you want to be doing once per week on that sign up form until it's at a place where it's at like 16, 17%, which I can show you here in a second. Let me actually show you right now. So check this out. This is one of our clients here really quick. Wanted to show you guys this to show you how important the sign up form is and why it's important to test. 16% submission rate for the last 7 days. 6,000 people saw it and 1,000 people submitted their email, right? 16% of the people who visited their site, we've collected their email. And their welcome flow is absolutely printing for them. And we never would have unlocked this revenue if we had been neglecting the sign up form, right? So that's a pretty simple one there, which leads me to my next point again, just testing things constantly. Every piece of your account should be tested, right? Once you have that foundation, you have the flows, you have a consistent campaign schedule, and once you have a sign up form, you should be testing everything, right? And I'm going to make I actually posted a whole separate video on just testing, what specifically to test, all that stuff. It was actually the video right before this one. So go ahead and check that one out after this one. But yeah, that's a big one that I see. Your Klaviyo account is a living, breathing thing, right? It's not just an account, right? That account needs to constantly be evolving and be stretched, right, to its full potential. As you add new profiles, as you add new fresh people into your ecosystem, you need to be testing different things to figure out what works best. Okay, so that's that. Also, this is a big one I see. Hopefully you don't fall into any one of these buckets, but focusing or relying heavily on discounts. Okay. We have had a lot of brands come to us who are running like a sale every month. That's like the only way they can really survive. And we've successfully gotten them to lower that cadence while also making them more money in the process. Because what happens is when you're constantly just running sales, man, what happens is people will just get used to buying your product, on sale. Like they'll never want to buy your product outside of a sale, and they will never pay full price for it. And what that does psychologically, first of all, it's not good from a brand perception persona because, you're just on this hamster wheel now of constantly having to like have some sales gimmick in order to get your product into people's hands. But also it just doesn't look great, right? Like when a brand is running a sale constantly, people, I don't want to say lose respect for the brand, but they kind of do, right? It's not really that strong brand presence that you really want to have when every single 4 weeks you have a new sale running for 20% off, right? It just gets old. It starts fatiguing. Over time, you'll find your sales just start performing worse and worse and worse. Your click-through rates go down, your engagement goes down, open rate, like it just across the board, it's not great. So you want to make sure that you're leaving your sales to very, very critical, key, strategic moments of the year, right? I don't recommend any more than like 4 sales per year, 4 or 5, like big sales per year, right? But yeah, that's my thoughts on it from just, experiencing tons of different accounts. Next, inconsistent sending schedules. Okay. So I see this one a lot as well. It's bad for a couple reasons. Number one, for engagement, it's just terrible. You want to have a consistent schedule. So people are kind of like expecting to see you at certain times. You'd be surprised. Like people will kind of get into the habit of opening your emails at the same time every single day once they kind of just subconsciously know your schedule, right? We as humans have circadian rhythms, right? That's what kind of keeps us on track. We know, kind of when the sun is going down, our body adjusts accordingly. We get tired at the same time every night unless your sleep schedule is just completely messed up. And so we have kind of like an internal clock, and that clock doesn't apply to just sleeping, right? It sounds silly, but your body will kind of adjust to the send times of different things, right? And you'll just kind of pick up on different patterns that you won't even really pick up on like consciously, but subconsciously you'll be expecting them, right? And so that's a perfect example of why you need to have a set schedule after you've tested and you've figured out what works best. Make a schedule, have a standard cadence that you stay with every single week at the same time every single week. Okay. I can't stress how important this is. Also, for a deliverability perspective, you want to make sure you're consistent because that helps inbox providers. That helps them kind of raise your sender reputation and keeps you out of the spam folder. Because if you're taking 3 weeks off, a month off of sends, which I see a lot of brands doing, which is just terrible, people will stop opening your emails, and you're losing that history with these inbox providers like Google, Outlook, Yahoo, and they're going to see that, and they're going to see you haven't been consistent. You're going to be more of a stranger to them, and so they're going to be more likely to penalize you and put you in the spam folder. On top of that, let's say you take a month off, you come back, right? Your open rates probably aren't going to be super high because people haven't seen you in a month and a half, right? And so that's going to also signal to inbox providers that, hey, let's lower this guy's deliverability score, right? So yeah, across the board, make sure you're consistent with things. Now, moving on. Not taking advantage of their loyal customers. I see this all the time, even in like really big, well-established brands who are doing like $1 million per month. We can come in and seriously overhaul how they run and how they utilize their customers that they've already secured. They've already acquired these customers. Make sure you're taking advantage of them, specifically the loyal ones, right? So, for example, I have a whole video on this that I posted. It's titled, "We made $44,000 off of a single email." We sent an email to, I think, about 14,000 people. So not like a crazy high amount of people. And we made $44,000 off of that one send, right? How are we able to do that, right? Well, that email was sent to our VIP customers, and the definition of a VIP customer for that client was somebody who had an average order value above a certain dollar amount, as well as somebody who came back more than once to purchase the products. These are people who are loyal. They know the brand. They're a fan of the brand. So we actually sent them an early access deal and discount to our big sale we were running, which, by the way, they only run about 3 per year. We were running a big sale. We sent these loyal customers early access to the sale, made them feel really special, let them know how much we thank them for their repeat business, how we started the brand, what the brand stands for, and how they're supporting it. And that email just printed. It cooked. It just absolutely did incredible. And we would have missed out on that if we hadn't reached out to those loyal customers beforehand and made them feel really special. Sure, of course, there's always the argument that a lot of those loyal customers, since they are loyal, they probably would have purchased anyways when the sale actually started. But I guarantee you, and we've tested this as well, I could show you guys as well, not as many people would have purchased at the rate that they did with the average order values that they did, by making them feel special, by letting them know that they were in on something, right? They had early access before everybody else, right? So that works really well. And I have tons of things I could do there. I'm going to make a whole separate video on that as well. Moving on, not using teasers when they run sales. So kind of going off of that, I can't even begin to tell you guys so many brands. I actually did an audit on a brand literally 2 weeks ago, who's now our client. We're going to fix this up for them, but they're doing about 600 grand a month in sales. And they run a sale very frequently, more than they should. And we're working on that with them. But I did notice that they never run teasers when they run their sales. They basically just show up. They just send an email, sales live, right? Big sale. And it's like, okay, cool. But at the same time, I have so much data around this, and I explained this in that other video. When you're running teasers, you'd be surprised how much extra revenue you can squeeze out of your list by literally just getting the sale on their radar beforehand, right? So I explained the exact teaser strategy. Basically, you want to send about 3 teaser emails before the sale ever starts, right? Typically starting about like a week and a half out. You want to send 2 text-based teasers as well as the graphic-based teasers, basically just getting the sale on their radar, explaining, hey, we're running the biggest sale of the year next Tuesday, the 18th, whatever. These are the deals that are going to be on sale. These are the products. Now's your chance to do it. Just getting it on your radar, because things are going to go fast. Make sure you are quick when this sale drops. We have limited stock. Okay, so you're introducing some scarcity and some urgency there. And we have seen such a monumental increase in sales performance, not only in revenue from the sale, but also in the actual like longevity of the sale, right? So if you're running a week-long sale, typically for most brands, the first announcement email of that sale will do phenomenal. It'll have a ton of revenue in it. And then every other email after that for that week is going to be just like very minimal sales, right? Because you've exhausted everybody. But when you run these teasers, the pent-up demand is so high that your first email, first of all, is going to make even more money. But then also the sale won't really die out as much, right? And you'll see that. And I talk about a ton of sales strategies in that email as well, in that video as well. But this is a big one. So if you're not using teasers, please run teasers. And finally here, big one I see, also have a video on this, treating email marketing the same for low average order value brands versus high average order value brands, or just really to simplify this, using like a cookie cutter approach for email marketing. Every brand is different. Okay. If you haven't heard me say that, every brand is completely different. What works for one brand might not work for another. Okay. We have forms, again, that I just showed you that are doing 16% submission rates, that we install the same kind of concept for another brand and it does a 4%. And we're like, okay, we got to scrap that and come up with something new, right? Every brand is different. Every brand has a different audience. Specifically when you're selling a low ticket product versus a high ticket product, you cannot run the same email strategy for a brand selling a $10,000 product that you can for a brand selling a $2 fidget spinner, right? It's just totally different. Your sales cycle is more extended. Everything is just different, right? You need longer flows. You need more nurturing. You need more social proof. You need to shorten that sales cycle. right? You can't afford to give as much margin away on the front end, right? Because you have less of an opportunity to actually upsell them into a different product. Because usually high ticket products, usually, not always, but usually there's really just kind of like a one product store. Obviously there's exceptions, right? But basic summary here is make sure that you are using an approach and you're testing things to figure out what works for your account specifically. There's no one size fits all approach. Okay. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Bit of a shorter one for you today, or actually, I don't think it was that short. But yeah, just wanted to kind of jot some things down. I was thinking about this because I was doing another audit today, and I was like, hey, this is actually be a good content idea. So I appreciate you guys watching. By the way, I always have to say, I do run an email and SMS marketing agency working specifically with direct-to-consumer e-commerce brands. If you or someone you know needs help with their email marketing, with their Klaviyo, if you want to scale your brand further, but you don't have the time to spend in Klaviyo, you don't have the expertise to put towards Klaviyo, book a call with me using the link in the description. I will do a full audit on your account for free. Okay, I'll tell you all the bottlenecks. I'll tell you what's holding you back, where things could go. I'll give you a revenue projection of where we could take you. And I just kind of love to learn more about your brand on the call. So I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know in the comments what other topics you'd want me to cover next. But as always, I hope you got some value, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks.